Professor uses the evolution theory from the viewpoint of Christianity, the thorough analysis of the descent or origin of man, Lecture 5, Chapter 3, Comparison of the mental powers of man and the lower animals. We have seen in the last two chapters that man bears in his bodily structure clear traces of his descent from some lower form. Here we will see through the traces of the mental power in detail. The lower animals manifestly feel pleasure and pain, happiness and misery, and are excited by the same emotions like man. There is no fundamental difference between man and the higher mammals in their mental faculties. Terror acts in the same manner on them as on us, causing the muscles to tremble, the heart to palpitate, the sphincters to be relaxed, and the hair to stand on end. Everyone knows how liable animals are to furious rage and how plainly they show it. There is an anecdote on the long-delayed and artful revenge of a baboon. At the Cape of Good Hope, an officer had often plagued a certain baboon, and the animal, seeing him approaching one Sunday for parade, poured water into a hole and hastily made some thick mud, which he skillfully dashed over the officer as he passed by, to the amusement of many bystanders. For long afterwards, the baboon rejoiced and triumphed whenever he saw his victim. We see maternal affection exhibited in the most trifling details. A monkey carefully drives away the flies which plagued her infant. Dubussel saw a hylobatus washing the faces of her young ones in a stream. So intense is the grief of female monkeys for the loss of their young, that it invariably caused the death of certain kinds kept under confinement by Brehm. Orphan monkeys were always adopted and carefully guarded by the other monkeys, males and females. All animals feel wonder and many exhibit curiosity. Darwin placed a live snake in a paper bag with the mouth loosely closed in one of the larger compartments. One of the monkeys immediately approached it, cautiously opened the bag a little, peeped in, and instantly dashed it away. It would almost appear as if monkeys had some notion of zoological affinities, for those exhibited a strange, instinctive dread of innocent lizards and frogs. An orang also has been known to be much alarmed at the first sight of turtles. The principle of imitation is strong in man, and especially with savages. Birds imitate the songs of their parents, and sometimes of other birds, and parrots are notorious imitators of any sound which they often hear. A cat brings a live mouse to her kittens. Hawks teach their young dexterity as well as judgment of distances by first dropping through the air dead mice and sparrows, which the young generally failed to catch and then bringing them live birds and letting them loose. The parents of many animals may be said to educate them. Hardly any faculty is more important for the intellectual progress of man than attention. Animals clearly manifest this power as when a cat watches by a hole and prepares to spring on its prey. It is almost superfluous to state that animals have excellent memories for persons and places. A baboon at the Cape of Good Hope recognized Sir Andrew Smith with joy after an absence of 9 months. The imagination is one of the highest prerogatives of man. By this faculty he unites former images and ideas independently of the will, and thus creates brilliant and noble results. Dreaming gives us the best notion of this power, as dogs, cats, horses, and even birds have vivid dreams, and this is shown by their movements and the sounds uttered. We must admit that they possess some power of imagination. Of all the faculties of the human mind, it will be admitted that reason stands at the summit. Animals may constantly be seen to pause, deliberate, and resolve. A curious case has been given by Professor Mevius of a pike, separated by a plate of glass from an adjoining aquarium stocked with fishes, and who often dashed himself with such violence against the glass in trying to catch the other fishes that he was sometimes completely stunned. The pike went on thus for 3 months, but at last learnt caution and ceased to do so. The plate of glass was then removed, but the pike would not attack these particular fishes. Charles Darwin saw that when a small object is thrown on the ground beyond the reach of one of the elephants in the zoological gardens, he blows through his trunk on the ground beyond the object, so that the current reflected on all sides may drive the object within his reach. H.M. Westrop observed a bear deliberately making with his paw a current in some water, which was close to the bars of his cage, so as to draw a piece of floating bread within his reach. When Wrangler first gave eggs to his monkeys, they smashed them, and thus lost much of their contents. Afterwards, they gently hit one end against some hard body and picked off the bits of shell with their fingers. These all seem to be equally an act of reason. Their acts would be guided by a rude process of reasoning. We can say that they have reason, though not quite perfect. The rest of chapter 3 will be continued in the next lecture. Shalom.